person try to interpret the
Association rules.
yeah, I wouldn't even, Gabe won't like you doing that. He doesn't want you to get yourself in the line of fire on anything.
Reading, yeah. Get the answer from somebody.
Yeah, no one
that's wrong.
should go to the source
keep
of the
track of
source
what
you spoke with. And then what we often do if we're dealing with a seller or a buyer client is we send an email back to the person we spoke with, say, just to reconfirm our conversation this day and time, this is what you said, do I have it right? Now you have a paper trail, so when you go to court, you win.
Well, probably I really should approach the seller's agent to find out the information.
Yeah.
No? All right.
Because he might get it wrong.
True.
In one phone call,
You're right. You're playing telephone.
Yeah, and association info is still available on the public handout.
in other words, Amanda's point is the buyer can call the association.
And that's actually what I do. I'll highlight, underline, circle the association name and number, and I'll tell them, I can't speak on behalf of the association, but here's their phone number. Feel free to call and ask them.
Okay, so we're seeing today some extra new faces that we've seen before. I'm so glad to see you all here. So much fun when you're here. So because you're here, we get to go around the room and confess. You're a realtor. I confess. I'm a realtor. My name is Kathy Fernandez. And here's a burning question. And the answer, it's just one easy answer. Is this a hobby? Is real estate a hobby for you or a career? Is it a hobby or a career? Starting with Billy, and we'll go that way today. And would you get these new names on the list?
I'm Billy Worthy, I'm a realtor, and this is a career.
I'm Melissa Page, I'm a realtor, this is a career.
I'm Lisa Weissman, I'm a realtor, and this is a second career.
Chelsea Arthur, not a realtor, title industry. This is my career.
My name is Phil Barnes. I'm a realtor, and this is
No,
also
you're
my
not.
second career.
No, you're not.
Realtor.
Thank you. This is such a trick question. And you don't want to say it wrong in front of your clients. You get to start over if you're forgiven.
Oh, okay. My name is Phil Barnes. I'm a realtor, and this is my career.
Yay.
And Phil, can I put you on the team?
My name is Robert Smith.
Sure.
I'm a realtor.
Yeah, I'll be here for a while. From conditions of my parole.
Still up in there.
Amanda, do this afterwards, please. Do this afterwards. I'm sorry. Start over.
My name is
Robert Smith.
I'm a realtor, and this is a career.
Uh-oh, did you cross your fingers when you said that?
I heard some stuttering.
Yeah.
You're gonna get another job. Just say I'm on here.
Yeah. The other one is a hobby.
I'm Sarah Stansberry, I'm not a realtor, I'm a loan originator, and this is my career. It's actually more than my career.
It's your passion.
It's her life.
I'm Tammy, I'm a realtor and second career.
I'm a realtor. My name is Vivian Pike, 32 years as a career.
I would say so.
Oh, my name's Amanda. I'm a realtor, and yeah, this is a career.
And if you're not on a team, we'll get you on a team. That's where the fun begins. Billy, you want to give it, you want to give us points?
Let's
Which
talk
teams are
about
winning and see
teams.
which teams are losing?
I forgot to do my quick this week. I was going to ask you, what does it count for? This is the first time I've ever done 6 hours each day, Saturday and Sunday. To me, that is like
6 hours of what?
open house.
You get a point for Saturday and a point for, it's not, you don't get 6 hours, you don't get 6 points.
Well, you should get 2, because normally I only do 3 hours. And I set the what do you call it, the ad for 1 to 4, and then I got told by the AHBA, it's mandatory I had to be there from 12 to 6. I didn't have a choice.
Oh, because of the parade.
Oh, parade.
Well, we did 1 to 5, nobody gave us a bad time. Anyway,
You did 1 to 5 on your,
we did, well, yeah.
you had a spring preview home?
Oh,
No, we didn't do
Oh,
new construction.
Yeah, no, it was just the new construction that had.
Well, you get, Vivian, you get 2 points, 1 for Saturday, 1 for Sunday, but the benefit, the bonus to yours, and that's even better, right? Okay, so Billy, go for it.
Okay, we'll start with my team. My team's holding third down hard. we have trouble getting our points in,
Yes, we do.
but I'm doing what I can. The second place team is actually Team 2, Captain Amanda Lee. Amanda's killing it with 134 points, and Kelly Gray Wonder's killing it with 144. She's out of commission for a few weeks though. She had some surgery, so send good thoughts her way. And then of course Team 1, Captain Chelsea, along with Kathy, Sarah, and Carl. So all the diehard people on one team. I think this was stacked.
I'm so fair.
But they have 367 points, almost 100 points ahead of Team 3.
And where are the points coming from, Billy?
Mostly, well, everybody on their team has been wearing name tag,
See how simple.
business cards, and attending meetings. The number one contributor to your team, though, is yourself.
Yeah.
Mostly business cards and name tags. But the highest individual point goes to Chelsea for her business cards, 46 business cards.
How I do.
Where do you take them? Where do you drop your business cards?
Well, so I go to, I'm not just upstairs at Jack White. I go to all the different brokerages, and actually Parade of Homes weekend, I spent 5 hours and went to 14 houses and saw multiple different people, including that guy at the end of the table right over there.
Bill Barnes.
Thank you for the water again.
Yes, that's what I'm here for.
Busy girl. Okay, I need 2 success stories from anybody. Success stories. Candy, you usually have something exciting.
I've been out of it for about a week or so.
So,
I have one.
Yes.
I have one. Okay, Saturday, this couple came in. I was doing an open house in Golden View. And they came in, they looked around. At a point, doing my open houses, I just said, I'm not going to ask somebody to sign in anymore. I'm just so bored. I'm tired. I'm about to go drink a glass of bleach. You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were an energy drinker. So.
I
You say to yourself, I just want this to be over.
Yeah.
So the next couple that came in, I was so happy to see them. I was so happy to see them. I didn't care about giving them nothing, signing in or nothing. I just talked to them. I just talked and talked. And then they said, yeah, we're going to sell our house and we're thinking about buying this one. Do you have a realtor? Yes. Big name realtor. So I was like, we're talking about that.
Where's that bleach, right?
But I was still excited to see him, so I kept talking. And so they left. And I got this thing when I do now at open houses. If I can get your phone number, as soon as you drive away, I'm texting you. Hey, thank you. Nice to meet you. It was a pleasure. Before they even get down the street.
That's awesome.
So they did that, and then she called me back and she said, hey, I want to use this food about this house.
No! Yay!
That's awesome.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
You wouldn't be so happy if you knew that it was Kathy Fernandez, that big name realtor.
Only you could say that is so cool.
That's awesome.
That is a great story.
Now she's still using the other
To sell.
girl to sell.
Well, she has to.
Has she signed a buyer? Have they signed a
No,
buyer?
but they made a
rep
personal promise to her. And this is a retired girl.
agreement? No, I'm talking about the buyer. Have they signed a buyer rep agreement with their previous realtor?
No.
Oh, yes. Congratulations. Did you write the offer?
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're getting pre-qualified now.
All right. What a great story. Open houses work, don't they? Okay, any other success stories?
Like a sales story.
I was going to talk about Fairbank Street.
Okay.
My brother, several months ago, probably back in February, told me, hey, a gentleman just passed away. I know his friend, and he may need some help. Fast forward to current time. We helped this family sell a piece of property way up north in Lake Louise, and also we finally got this downtown home duplex listed. And,
Built in the 1940s, right?
yeah,
Wow.
1941, and he was a hoarder, it's in bad condition, so we priced it accordingly. And it's been on for a day now and had incredible activity, and I'm expecting 2 offers now.
Cool.
Yeah, so,
So kind of the moral of that story, I think, is not every listing you take is gonna be a palace. There's gonna be listings that are awful. In fact, when I first saw this property, I almost thought we shouldn't walk away. It was because of the hoarder situation, lots and lots of code issues, but you know what? Everything is saleable. Everything is saleable. You just have to price it right, market it maybe a little differently, but be optimistic about it. And especially, this family needed some help because they don't live here. This was the father's home. So we dotted a lot of I's, crossed a lot of T's, talk about code issues. The gentleman passed away in the house. We made that crystal clear. We talked to Gabe about that. That's not necessarily always necessary per MLS requirements, or I should say realtor requirements, but it was the right thing to do, especially if you try to get yourself out of trouble. And you don't want a transaction falling apart at the last minute because people didn't know about it. So you're right. So you never know. You just be open-minded. As long as it's not moving, you can sell it, right?
Kathy, I want to add something, because like I said, I have 32 years in business, and since 1988, when Connie Oshimura taught me to do open houses for new construction, I want you to know that that was this Saturday, even though it was 6 hours, and it was 6 hours Saturday, 6 hours Sunday. I gave out more cards than I've ever given out, 225 cards. It's a record for me. Of course, I'm trying to get rid of them, so I had them stapled to things, I had pictures, I had flyers. I mean, I wanted to get rid of them. But that's where I pick up the sellers, because, they said, well, you're not the listing agent, are you, on this house? I said, no. And they said, well, we've been coming to all these open houses, new construction, and they see me at the spring preview and the fall preview for Merit Homes. And that's where I got 2 ladies who said, well, I'm glad you got your cards to this finance sheet. She said, I want to have you sell my house.
Wow.
And that's why I picked up 2 sellers.
They really work.
Yeah, they really do. Just, but I've never given out that many cards. And to me, that was like a first. I was like, and it was the most people I've ever had. I've done 3 years of fall and spring previews for Merit Homes. And I'm going to tell you, it was probably 300 groups through both days. I mean, I went home exhausted each day.
Wow. What an opportunity for you.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like there's so much traffic?
Well, number one, it was a new design by Merit Homes, and it was designed by a young man. And people walked into it and they loved it. They came through the second day as well, because they brought their husbands or their family members, somebody else, because they had to show them this house. It was such a wonderful house designed by Chris Peterson's son, Jacob Peterson. So it was outstanding home. But the fact is that everybody likes to come in because they said, I was really good at remembering, maybe not their names, but I remember when I seen them at the last previews and everything. Because there's a lot of people that come through there. And when you're always consistently there at new construction and they're going to build, they remember you.
Well, I was in the terrace with Misha's other
Yeah,
unsold,
yeah.
spec home across the street from, it was a home that was on the tour. And that house, when I went into their house afterwards, I just wanted to see it. It was a hopeless house. The realtor hosting that he said it was like 150 people.
That's
He had,
amazing.
and I got part of the traffic, but definitely not everybody.
I think a lot of the traffic in your area too was that it was the higher price range on the parade of homes. So I think a lot of people get attracted and want to walk through the $1.2 million house and see how pretty it is and everything. And you were in that same area.
Yeah,
so I
'cause
think
Mary-
a lot of those people.
Mary had a lot of people too. She said she was just inundated, because everybody that came to mine went to hers too, because I heard about it. I never got to see it.
Oh, man.
I'm just
That was a
wondering,
good one.
these houses are on the market every year, but why is there all this traffic now? People bored, they don't have anything else to do,
Well,
or people actually
who
begin to
knows,
shop,
really?
or
Who
like
knows?
come out of
The
the woodwork.
interest rates are
and
going up, and I think people realize if they're gonna buy, they better buy sooner than later.
Yeah.
like,
And the truth is, and that's part of the reason for our discussion today, the market, our team is over $1 million in sales ahead of where we were last year at this time. But in the last 6 weeks, I've seen an incredible slowdown. So raise your hand if you felt the market has slowed down like we do, but maybe
way
nobody
down.
else feels that way.
I've been to the place last week.
Okay, but I do, I check the board, because 40 years ago in real estate, if you sold a house, you put it up on a board so everybody could see it. Now we just turn in our earnest money check. But every time I walk by the earnest money check turn-in thing, I look, I can see people are putting deals together.
Yeah.
But we seem to be slow, so our whole presentation today is about that. What you do when the market slows down. And if you haven't been in the market very long, you don't know what it's like to have a great market and then a slow market. The one consistent is there will always be great markets and always be slow markets. And so the point is to figure out how to deal with that, because it can grab you out of the business if you're not ready for it. So before I move on, any field problems really quick? Field problems, anybody? Other than a slow market? No. We're just slow. I don't know why. Okay, let's jump into the presentation. Market slow, what to do. So there's only one thing to do in a slow market, which is, no surprise, go back to basics. Go back to what you first did when you got in the real estate business, what your broker told you to do, and do it. Make the calls, do the open houses, take floor time. So let's go through the list here. When you first started real estate, what were the first things you did that got you closer to a commission check? Anybody? We have to fill in 5 blanks.
Called everybody.
Yeah, as you say, pick up the phone.
Pick up the telephone, okay? Call everybody you know. Let them know you're in the real estate business. What would be some other things to do?
Open houses.
Open houses. We just had a long conversation already today about the value of open houses from Robert and Vivian. I'm so envious of Robert getting my client. What's the third thing to do? We got open houses, make phone calls, call everybody you know. What's another thing to do?
Social media, so that all your
Sure.
friends know that you're doing real estate now.
Yeah. Snapchat and all, what else, Amanda?
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah, ramp up your social media. That's 3. I need 2 more.
Direct mail?
What was that?
To direct mail?
Yeah, here's the thing about, I believe in direct mail,
To your-
as long as
to
you
your
also make a
farm?
phone call. You can't just send somebody a piece of mail and then file your fingernails. You've got to send the mail out and then call.
And then the other thing, I would say, maybe stop it for sell by owners.
Absolutely. Stop it for
'Cause
sale
there's
by
a lot
owners,
of them
knock
all
on
of a
their
sudden.
door, yeah. And if we didn't say so already, do floor time.
Yeah.
Make money on floor time.
What's your first weekend?
Your first listing, you do floor time.
Yeah,
Amanda's
nobody
here
had-
a lot. Amanda's here a lot, and if you're not here for the floor time for which you signed up, they'll send a call to Amanda. So show up for a floor
Yeah.
time.
Well, the other thing is that I noticed this morning, because the floor sheet went around and there was hardly anybody taking floor. And you can only take, on Tuesdays, you can only take 1 weekday and 1 weekend. And there was hardly anybody signing up for floor. So tomorrow, you can sign up for floor again one more time.
And you may not
then the
get
next day.
a good floor call, but what a great time, you're tied to your phone anyway, what a great time to start making calls. Don't just wait for the phone to ring, call people. Call people in your sphere, let them know that you're in the business, and who do they know that might need a realtor. Don't ask them if they need a realtor, because that's an easy no. If you ask them who they know, who do you know that may need a realtor, they think about it. Call your church groups, call your HOA members.
Well, you know what, since this is all people who are in the teams and stuff, one of the things that I worked at another place where they had us sit in a room like this, basically, and then you separated out and went off to a place, and what you did, we had a script that said,
Team calls.
yeah, but what you had was a script that said, hey, I'm in a contest, and I'm trying to find out how many people I can get to see if they need to buy or sell a house. And so you tell them it's a contest, but you really want to help them because you really love what you're doing, And I remember that because that was very intense, very, very intense. But, you know, you had to go and spend 15 to 20 minutes making phone calls and then come back and then tell them that you didn't. And then there was another 30-minute break and then you went back out again, away from the group. And it was done in a big, big meeting room, so everybody had lots of room. And by the time they got through, there was probably maybe 100 people in this class.
Oh, wow.
And what they did was almost everybody had one or two listing or buyers present. Because you never know, but if you are consistent at it like that, where because it was an 8-hour class for.
And I think, Vivian, what separates what you just said from what people might think is good enough will just give people a reason to want to do business with me. I'm in a contest right now. I've been in the business for a year. I really need to ramp up my sales. Who do you know? Just being in a contest.
Yeah, because they said to mention your church or any, if you belong to any clubs, you know, anybody you know, because you're not saying, you know, that they are religious or anything, but just telling anybody you know, from your social clubs or, you know, working out, going somewhere, anybody you know, I'm really trying to, you know, help other people. You know, since I know, you know, I sold you a home or whatever, you know, I know
Think
you
about Vivian is after how many years in business, Vivian?
32.
32 years in business. She's so enthusiastic, isn't she?
Oh, I love what I do. And people know that.
Yeah.
People
see,
know
that makes a
I
difference.
do that and I don't, you know, when it's 4 o'clock, I don't kick people out. You know,
Okay,
I've been
number
there
two.
till 4:30.
Number two. But somebody in this room will remember saying this. Number two, but I'm spending all my time on listings. Where are the buyers?
Look at her, Danya.
Billy said, he's got some listings. I mean, listings are gold in this business. He shows up in my office, I think, he says, I'm spending all my time on listings. Where are the buyers? So here's what I'm talking about. Hey. In his whiny female voice. Okay, hey, you'll have buyers if you have listings. What's the answer, people? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I say in theory, I say no.
I do. For Fairbanks listing, you already have a buyer in mind for that because you have that listing.
And not only that, but
Okay.
when you have a listing, you can expect to. I mean, in my years of experience, you can always expect to pick up 1 or 2 buyers. I always have. I mean, you just count on it and have that expectation.
Okay, B, what's the caveat? The listings need to be saleable, Billy.
I agree.
Okay, and C, we're in a market where lots of property is coming on the market. We were in a market not too long ago where the inventory was down. It seems to be picking up again. But our listings, we have 19 listings right now. They're not really showing. Why are they not showing? Well, maybe it's a price problem. Maybe it's the way the properties are presented problem. It's not a marketing problem. We market like crazy on all of our properties. So maybe if your listings are not selling, how many have listings that need to start selling? Okay, so maybe it's time to get price reductions and or to have sellers make their homes appear more saleable. Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Yeah,
when I wrote that, I thought,
Yeah, I got the price reduction on some.
you got it?
Yeah,
Good
so
for
Monday,
you.
Monday,
How much of a reduction?
just 10. But that's almost 2%, so.
That's not bad.
But yeah, because, you know, your higher end, that's where they need to drop them, when they're going to drop.
Okay, around the room, what is your protocol for asking sellers for a price reduction?
Statistics.
Statistics? Yes.
Yeah, doing a new analysis and
yeah,
showing them that the
comparison.
prices have dropped.
If you take the listing and you know it's a little on the high side, have you prepared them for that? And that at some point, magic point in time that you both agree on, you're going to be seriously looking at a serious price reduction. So the protocol is just getting the listing, frankly, is never enough. You have to educate your seller that, okay, I'm willing to test the market for you. I'm willing to spend the money and the time to test the market for you. Now, if your sellers are asking a ridiculous price, we don't take the listing. But if it's close to what you would have recommended, okay, I'll test the market for you for 30 days. Can we agree that if we don't have an acceptable offer in that 30-day period, that we're going to drop the price $20,000? Whatever you all think. But have that conversation with the seller at the time you take the listing. So it's not sitting out there 90 days, no activity, because here's what's going to happen. Who are they going to blame if you haven't educated them. They're going to blame you. It'll be your fault if that didn't sell. One of my missions in life is to try never to be the one at fault with our sellers or our buyers. Try to outthink them. Remember the what ifs so that they can't get mad at you. Okay, number 3. The only thing predictable about real estate is that it's constantly changing and unpredictable. Do we agree?
Yes.
With every commission check, you should hold out not only a percentage for taxes. How much do you think, anybody? 20%. Yeah, I'd say at least 20, depending on your tax bracket. But you should also hold out a percentage as well for the leaner times. How much do you think? She says 25. I'm going to recommend 30. So if you hold out 30 and 20, if you take 50% of every commission check and hold out that much for taxes and for leaner times, especially if you have a budget for your expenses, then you're prepared for the leaner times. If you can manage that, it's tough. 50% from a commission check is difficult. But I would say try to think like that anyway. Number 4, examine where you spend money in real estate, brokerage costs, agent services fees, marketing costs. Consider trimming back marketing costs, but don't go invisible. I would say never cut your marketing costs to the bone. You don't want people who are accustomed to seeing your face and your signs out and your ads now and then. If they're accustomed to seeing that, don't suddenly disappear from the face of the earth because they'll think you're out of business. But Facebook and social media is not that pricey. You can do my Facebook cost per month. We boost our posts. Our Facebook costs probably or maybe $100 a month. And on some of our listings when we do, what are you doing?
$240.
Is it $240 for Facebook?
Because we do 30, I think we do $2 $30 boosts a week.
Okay.
So
$240 a month?
Open house is probably doing that.
Okay. And the hits we get, some of our listings we've gotten up to what, 7,000?
Oh, more than that. I think, what was the lead was that last
That was
year?
7,000.
That was the 7,000.
12,000, sorry, 12,000.
Yeah, I thought it was
12,000 hits
13.
in 1 week on just one of our listings. And that was $240 a month. So people know we're in the business. Also, if you cut back, another thought, if you cut back on your agent services fees and you do the transaction processing yourself, are you taking yourself away from selling, which is where your commission income comes from? It's hard to decide what to do. How many process their own deals?
I have to have about more than 5, and then
Then you start taking.
Yeah, then I have to, 'cause
And I agree
it's
with
not fair.
Vivian. There's 10 or under, you should be able to do it yourself without losing momentum in your prospecting. But once you're above 10, you might want to let agent services do that. And if agent services is processing your listing, don't go get a cup of coffee and read a book. Go back to work. Take that time for new business. Work for new business. Okay. Number 5, if your business is slow, go back to all the warm leads you ignored and call them, text them, email them. So when the market is good, we deal with A buyers only, right? We just take the cream of the crop and run with those. But when the market has turned, maybe some of those B and C buyers, maybe it's time now to make them into A buyers. And Billy is so good at that. Billy calls people over and over and over again. How many people do you call sometimes a day, Billy?
When I'm hot, the average is about 25.
Okay, in a day.
Talking to.
Talking to 25 people a day. And when Billy first got in the business, that's where all of his business came from. He just called. He was on the phone all day long. He dedicates at least one night a week to come into the office and work late just to be doing that task. And is a phone call good enough anymore?
No.
Email and text. Everybody we call, we email and we text. Okay, so now they're kind of a cold lead. What do you say to a cold lead? You kind of don't want to pick up the phone, do you? Because you haven't talked to them in a month, and they thought you were going to call them like a month ago, and you haven't called them in a month. So what do you say?
She said, sorry, I forgot about you.
Well, they might like the honesty.
So you did forget about it.
Well, here's what I do.
I just want to make sure you haven't forgot about me.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
even better. So tell them you're thinking about them. Hi, I know it's been a month and I've been thinking about you. Recall with them some previous personal discussions about family and hobbies. And then tell them you reached out to ask them who they know who might need a realtor. These are your B and C people. This is when the market is slowed down. And if you don't do this, people are going to be out of business. Try to be interested. Here's the other thing. Please don't call them and just talk about yourself, because they don't really care. They so don't care. The best conversationalist in the world is the person who talks very little and asks a lot of questions. Ask them about the dog that you know that they adopted a month ago. Ask them about how their family in Texas is doing. Ask them anything that it's about them. Try to be interesting, empathetic, and helpful. And above all else, be a good listener. It's so not about you. Am I right? Yes. Okay. Okay. Number 6. You've done some open houses. You didn't bring the bleach with you. Didn't bring the bleach. Number 6. When to call guests who come to your open house. When do you call the people who came to your open house? Same day, yes or no?
Same day.
Yes, big yes. Okay, so if you didn't call him the day of the open house, or like Robert does, he texted right away and he's done. He picked up a buyer on that house for it. That's, Robert, you just made my day. Now, if you don't call him the same day, for heaven's sake, call him the next day. Don't wait another day, because another really good realtor like Vivian, on that second day or the third day, she'll grab them. And she'll call them back. So get yourself in front of people yet again. What to say to those people? You just saw them 3 hours ago. What are you supposed to say to them? And thank them for coming, like Robert did. Thank them for coming to your open house and ask them if they have questions about the home, the neighborhood, or any other homes in the area. So that doesn't make you look foolish or forgetful if you just thank them for coming to the open house and ask them if they have any questions. You need to know that 19 out of 20 open house guests will never reach out to you. I think as new licensees, and I kind of went through this when I was brand new, I did an open house. I thought, I am so charming, and I knew so much information about the property. I just know they're going to call me back. It took me a long time to figure out that, no, that's not how it works. They're not going to call you. You have to call them. So don't just sit there and think they're going to call you back. They won't. Number 7, with so many listings coming on the market and not selling, there will be a lot of listings being canceled or expiring. Are you noticing that? These are the things you do when the market's down. If these are not Jack White listings, we do not chase Jack White listings, personally. These listings are fair game listings for you. How many people have worked, canceled, and expired listings? Vivian, of course. I have made a living on canceled and expired listings. In fact, I rather like it. I love calling the people who have a canceled or expired listing. And what's the common denominator thing? Well, if it's canceled, this doesn't apply. But what if a listing has expired? What is the common denominator thing you'll learn when you call those people?
They don't know.
They had no idea. Yeah, they did not know their listing had expired. Do not rank on the realtor that allowed their listing to expire. Don't do that. Just ask them if they know why the home didn't sell. Would they be interested in a fresh market analysis and a fresh marketing plan? Give them all kinds of reasons to let them come and visit with them and see your home and help them. So that's another source of business. What we do is we call and we send letters to these folks, or if you're Amanda and you're fearless, and I suggest all of you be Amanda, if it's a canceled or expired listing, go knock on the door. And Amanda would do that in a heartbeat. Well, knock on their door and say, hi, I'm Amanda. I just noticed yesterday that your listing had expired. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, I'm so sorry. But it did expire. Would you be interested in a fresh market analysis and a marketing plan? And you know what I like to tell people? I can sell your home. I tell everybody that.
Yes.
I can sell your home.
You not only do that, but you have us write it on the back of our business cards.
Yes.
And slip it in the door.
Yeah, I can sell your home. Put it on the, yeah, put it on the back of it. So how do you know you can sell their home? Is that fraud?
No.
Hell no. You can sell their home. It has a lot to do with pricing and staging and all of that, but you can sell their home. Every property is saleable except one listing I got. I can't sell it.
Which
About 3 of our condos.
which one? I was
That
like,
triplex,
What was that?
triplex, right?
48.
Oh, that one's not saleable. No, not as good as I think that. Okay. Okay, so knock on their front door. Chances are that if they were once sellers, they are still sellers. Right. They just didn't have the right realtor, marketing plan, or pricing the first time. Or maybe they were offering a reduced commission to the selling brokerage. How about those $1 commission to the selling brokerage? These sellers need your help. Okay, number 8, don't let the negative perception of other realtors about the market or the daily news about a recession get to you. Our market will always be up, it will always be down. You're always going to hear bad things. While most realtors might go dark and wait for a better market to return, this creates wild opportunities for you to prevail and shine. As realtors get afraid and paralyzed with fear and go dark and don't make a phone call, don't get out of bed in the morning, doesn't that open the door for more opportunity for you? Your positive attitude, like Vivian's, about your abilities to help sellers and buyers regardless of negative perception will earn you a commission check. Absolutely true. 9, if you typically dedicated 1 hour a day for looking for new business, now dedicate 2 hours a day. In a down market, what you could do in an hour, now will take 2 hours. Just suck it up and do it. Number 10, treat your real estate career like a job, not like a hobby. Put in a full 8 to 10 hour day in real estate where you are doing an activity that will ensure a commission check. Just showing up and shuffling through all listings is not very successful. You need to be doing things in that 8 to 10 hours a day that's going to get you closer to a paycheck. And what is the activity that will get you closest to a paycheck? Talking to them. Talking to real sellers and real buyers. Don't pick up the phone and spend a half day talking to your mother. She's not going to help you. Talk to real buyers and real sellers.
One of the things that I have is all my people that I've really sold over the years, in my phone numbers, I have their children's birthdays and everything, and I'll call them on their days of their birthdays. I think that's why 100% of my business is from past clients this year. I have not had any referrals from company or anything.
So you've kept a database.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But the database has their birthdays and anniversaries in it, and I didn't realize how important that was until last year when I was calling people on birthdays and sending cards. You know, people love that you remember them.
Well, it sets you apart, Vivian.
Yeah.
It tells them that you're interested in them. It's not just about
And especially if they have 5 children.
yeah.
That you can call them and talk to them about the kids. I mean, people want to talk the 4 things, the family, occupation, recreation, drinks, but I almost seem to focus on family because I have 5 kids. And so I've got people who've got 4 or 5 kids, and they love it when I call and talk to them, wish the kids happy birthday or send them a birthday card, you know. If I forget, I have a whole stack and say, sorry, I missed your birthday.
Thank you, Vivian. Okay, last one, number 11. Don't disillusion yourself that busy work will get you closer to a commission check. Have a plan of action that will do exactly what needs to be done every day to ensure you'll end up with at least 1 new buyer and 1 new seller at the end of each week. Don't forget, if real estate were easy, everyone would do it. And you can do this. Any comments or stories that fall in line with this other than what Vivian has shared with us?
I've really fallen off with my my bread and butter train.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to get back on it.
So easy to do, especially when you have a lot of listings that you're trying to deal with. And
Yeah, my focus completely shifted this year from last year, and you know, now it's time. It's time to go back.
Can you all think of at least one person you could call this afternoon that might generate a buyer or a seller?
Yeah, this person that just texted me from my Craigslist ad. I'm like, yay! I put on there the home state mortgage information on what their payment would be. Isn't this better than paying rent? And she just saw it and said, I just saw that. I would rather own instead of paying rent. And so, yeah, maybe it worked.
Can I ask how you crafted that Craigslist ad?
I actually got with Kelly and got the numbers. And I just put VA would be approximately this, and agency would be approximately
Okay,
this.
let me tell you a sad story.
Uh-oh, am I wrong? Is that wrong?
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, I was doing weekly newsletters to our sphere of influence, our email client list. And I was using the home state mortgage interest rate quotes because we were getting no, for some reason I don't get them now, or I don't get them. So every week, one of my team members, that was her job, would publish a newsletter and she would put the home state mortgage quotes, interest rate quotes, various loan types. She would embed them in my newsletter, and we sent those out for years and years and years and years. One day, I get a nasty letter from the Real Estate Commission that says, you are impersonating a loan originator, and you are in so much trouble, you will lose your real estate license. It was a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
So, I didn't intend to impersonate a mortgage loan originator, but because I had that embedded and I didn't, I think the thing that they were trying to hang me on was, I said, the verbiage I had was, call me to learn your buying power. Because that's what we do when we interview buyers, right? Well, I had to hire an attorney. I had to retain the attorney. I had to pay a fine to the Real Estate Commission. And I had to pay my attorney's fees.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, yeah, so I kept my real estate license, but just FYI, be so careful with that.
Make
Do you
sure
guys
that
have
you
the
Kelly's
interest
info
rate
and
on
her
your site?
and MLS number.
Actually, I was
Home
gonna
state
put that in
MLS.
there. I was actually just gonna
Photo
photo
of
home
it.
state logo.
And she had
At
the
the
sheet,
very least.
right? And I was just gonna take a photo.
It's gotta
'Cause I
have
was
that
gonna
equal
download it, but they want a photo.
If you put her photo in there, you've got to put her MLS number.
Yeah, it's all in there.
Well, I'm gonna say Jasmine gave us in our newsletter last January, February, she did the sheet where if the interest rate was 3.5, 4, 4.5, and everything. And that had just her information, and she was willing for all of us to use it. And you can use that in your Craigslist, because that has her.
Yeah,
This is
it
her.
did.
It's not
And
you.
that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I
Yeah.
can't download it. I just have to use a photo.
Whatever you do, even coming close to that kind of information, I'd run it by Dave.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just be careful with that. It's
Well, that was said at one of the meetings, but that because it's okay, because Gabe okayed it for our newsletter. And it was with Jasmine Young and all of her information, and this is her deal, home state mortgage. Had nothing, your name's not around it, and if you ever look at a lot of ads, they don't put them in, because one of the critical things you have to have in there is the APR. And people don't realize that, because this has happened over the years numerous times where agents will say 3.5% interest. Boy, jump on this bandwagon. You can't do that.
I
You
thought
can't do
that since I put approximately.
No, you can't do anything. Don't even talk about payments or anything. You have got to put the whole thing with her name or whoever gave you the numbers. It has to be coming from them. You cannot say this is from me.
That's why we did the flyers.
You have to do whatever.
That's why you do the flyers.
Which is what I was gonna do. I was
Is
just gonna
it
put it on there.
extremely obvious that that's a Jack White listing?
It's got my name with Jack White behind it.
Maybe on one of the photos somewhere, Photoshop the Jack White logo on there.
Okay.
Yeah, put the Jack White logo on there.
Best time, Gabe.
Well,
If you could make the flyers, I don't see
Gabe's been sending out all these things telling us what we can and can't do. If somebody's in here in the home state is helping us with the Alaska 49th state ads, that they have to run that by him, because that is something, with home state, it's fine because it's already acknowledged they are a affiliated business. But other people use different companies, and they don't make that distinction clear, so that's still like a conflict of interest, and Gabe doesn't want that. I mean, Gabe has been sending out things all this year about us using anybody, lenders in
I will
for
correct it.
ads.
Yeah, I will correct it.
You want to
Yeah.
make sure you let it know
Yeah,
who
yeah.
who the lender is, and give them their little comments.
Any other comments about anything that we talked about today, the market's slow, what to do? I mean, I don't think a lot of you are feeling that it's slow.
Well, I would say that I have a couple of listings, and everybody was, the people I've been working with, they've had family in Houston, family in Florida. And their listings, I have 4 listings, I'm waiting for their families to be okay. So, I mean, I think that's part of it, plus the fishing got great from the end of, middle of July and through August. So I know, because all the
And it's
people I'm
on
working
Facebook.
with, a buyer, he told me, well, he says, I can't go looking at properties this week, I'm going fishing this weekend. So I mean, there are reasons, but to be this slow in the water this time of year for me is unusual.
Yeah, it
And
is.
that's why I can't.
Phil, you don't feel slow?
Well, I just had some stuff just pop up
Sure,
all
sure.
at once, you know, picked up a listing and ended up buyer. like
I'm just
last
wondering-
week, So just,
Did you start last year?
no, 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
But my last summer was kind of similar to that.
But this is pretty much on par or is it picked up a little bit or whatever?
No, I think it's maybe popped up, you know,
Okay.
the listing I got from somebody, I sent that direct mail on a house that I had listed this spring, and, yeah, I thought the mailer was lost in the mail, because I heard nothing. Actually, I checked with some neighbors, but I don't remember seeing it, and I got a call, the lady had the flyer.
Wow.
Yeah, so put it on her, like, you know,
That's
and,
awesome.
yeah, and then the buyer was, a friend of mine, he's been looking for a condo, like one of these contemporary condos around town, one of the booming jobs, and I was gonna send out direct mail for him, start working with him, actually, like, say, are you serious, you really wanna look for this, let's meet, and, you know, so I can send out direct mail, and he's gonna have him sign a buyer's representation agreement before I did any of that.
Good for you.
And yeah, just one popped up that he wanted, and we ended it the next day.
Wow.
So,
Well, having made a big deal today about a slow market, I actually do feel like it's gonna break again. I just feel that, I don't know why, maybe Fairbanks did that to me, but
Yeah.
I just feel we've gotten like 6 price reductions in the last week on some of our listings, and that's starting to generate a little bit of traffic again. So I think it's gonna happen. We just went through a little bit of a 6-week downtime. I think it's gonna break.
Yeah.
The problem in this business, so if you go 6 weeks with downtime, you're not gonna have a commission. For, 2 months later, you're gonna feel no commission for that 6-week period. So if you're living on commissions, that's a big deal. And you all told me it's not a hobby, except Robert kind of fudged it. But you all told me it wasn't a hobby, this is your career, you probably need a commission check. So anyway, did you learn anything today you didn't know before? Hey, around the room, starting with Bill. What'd you learn, Billy?
No, just kind of recently today.
Yeah.
Can I ask Billy a question?
Yeah.
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters. So it started with my sphere. People who I haven't talked to in years and years and years and years. But if you're not from here, then you might not have that sphere. So what I would probably do is just scour Facebook and find the different, the different groups. You grew up in Alaska. When is a group with all kinds of strangers in there posting all kinds of stupid stuff. But it's you can reach out and as long as I get a response back, I'll count a Facebook messaging conversation as a phone call. Yeah, it's not just phone calls for me. It's any form of communication I can get. And then, everybody says church and at the gym. Tuesday nights are my late nights, and at the end of Tuesday, I go to either the AmVets or the Long Branch Saloon, and I'll try to meet somebody there.
Any prospects there too?
Yeah, absolutely. Everywhere I go, I try to have a conversation.
And the other question is, how do you keep tabs of the number of cards that you put in?
You take that many, I had that many flyers in my name. I had flyers that were 75 of them. Those went. And then I was taking my cards and stapling to everything that was, I mean, because, what's her name? Mish had given me 150 colored ones, but they had her name. I mean, she told me it was okay if I stapled, and so you better believe I was stapling. That's why I know how many, because I had 150, and I probably was left with 25. So between my 75 and the 100 that she gave me, and then the things that Wells Fargo gave me, I stuck my name on these because it was a jumbo loan. That's why I was talking about it in sales meeting this morning, because people want to know how to finance it. So if you're holding an open house, have the flyers from somebody so that you're not the person telling them, quoting them any interest rates or anything. You say, this is what Wells Fargo is offering, and it's a great deal.
I just say, I don't loan you the money, I don't owe the money, I just help you find the house.
Yeah.
I get that 10 out of all.
Outside of that, I take a certain number out to my car that I try to hand out in full stack each week. And then I also chalk my phone full of a certain number each week. And that's kind of how I keep track of it. Because it's really easy, I put 15 in my car and 10 in my phone. Okay, I handed out 25 business cards this week.
And if you make that a goal to get those cards handed out to the restaurant.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I do it that way. So I say, okay, I've got this many business cards, I need to hand this out.
Put it on your receipts.
I know.
I give out lots of cards, I text lots of cards, I talk to bazillion people a week, but I don't know how to keep track of how many.
Just do your best with them.
And just underestimate. And you might take another minute to write on the back of the card, nice to meet you, call me later, just a little note on the back of the card will set that card apart as well.
If you're on Facebook too, it's a good thing to do is add them as a friend on Facebook, because then you can go back and you can look at your timeline and see who you added, and you can go back and reach out to them.
I was gonna ask Kathy, I have my business card in a digital format on my phone, and so with most of the text messages and whatnot that I send out, I just tap my card on it. And does that count?
Yeah.
Every time you send a text message, it counts?
No.
Challenge accepted.
No. I literally, Billy, have like a digital format of my business card that I tack on to the
What is
end
that, a
of the
business?
It literally looks exactly like my business card, because it is.
I don't know why not. What'd you learn, Lisa?
I learned not to quote home states.
Learned a very
Even though it said
valuable lesson
approximately. I can't even approximate.
Around the room, what did you learn? You'll be done.
Oh, follow-up phone calls, don't just be the call.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's huge. If they won't call you, you gotta call them.
Can't just call until you're done.
I was gonna say the same thing. I thought that was really interesting statistic. Means you just gotta chase them.
You have to chase, and it's okay to chase them. They need help. You're saving them from themselves.
Love you.
Keep going around the room. What'd you learn? Helps us know.
Just the 30%, I think that kind of puts me on track of what I need to do for my commission. So.
I like the way you phrase to test the market if the seller is pricing a little high.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll test it for 30 days and then we can like that.
Kind of makes them part of the problem too, and they still kind of feel like it's their decision and they're in control. But the truth is, you're in control because you set the rules. Yeah. I'm sure you learned nothing, Vivian. but what
No,
you
I'm just reminded, go back to the basics, because that's what I do, when I just all you need a reminder is go back to the basics. And
I have to remind myself.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. I appreciate it.
Amanda, what you learned? You didn't already know.
Well, I was going to say the 30%, and then after that one, I decided to go back to basics. So it's all been said. It reminds me of many good things today.
See you next Tuesday, people. Thank you. Did you get paid?
Thank you, Kathy.
Did you want to get set up for
Yes.
the rate, the daily rate?
Oh.
I don't really need them per se, but you know what, you could.
Daily.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that, just so that I have it.
Just your email.
Not trying to